Hey, welcome back to Scorpion Insights. I'm Jamie Adams, joined by my good friend and colleague, Andrew, same last name, Adams, although we're not related, as you probably found out from other segments that we've done together. But we are going to be talking about a similar topic. We spent some time on generative AI and specifically how we believe generative AI is going to impact digital marketing and specifically search. We've covered two previous insights. Number one, we think that this advent of OpenAI technology like ChatGPT and Google's version, which they're calling Bard, we think that those technologies are going to push people to move from traditional search to actually conversation with search engines. We believe that reviews are going to be foundational, even more foundational to a business's visibility in those questions and those conversations than they are even today in search. And then today we're going to talk about the importance of clear, concise, helpful content and why it's more important than ever for businesses to be really specific and very clear with the content as they can actually answer questions that consumers are going to Google with and going to ChatGPT with. So Andrew, let's unpack a little bit the importance of clear content. What do we mean by that and how it's even more important than ever as generative AI becomes a bigger factor in search?
Yeah, I think for me, using Bard or ChatGPT, I think it's a more specific search engine, essentially. So when I go to Bard or ChatGPT and ask a question, I kind of want an overview of whatever I'm looking for. So when you're a business, you're focused on, let's make sure I rank for attorney near me or something like that. This new focus on generative AI is going to bring in those questions that your potential clients are always asking.
Yeah.
And you showing up there is also going to help give you some clout while they're in that search process.
Yeah, so I'll frame up an example that I was thinking about just this week that I think is fairly relevant. So I'm 43 years old. I don't have a family, so I don't have a wife. I don't have any kids, but I've got a sister and I've got nephews and nieces. And like 43, I've got a lot of runway left, I think, but I actually don't have an estate plan or a will. Right, so I was thinking about, hey, who can actually engage with? What type of probate and estate attorney can I actually seek out? Right, but ideally, again, I'm not leaving anything to my specific family. I would want to leave something to my sister and her kids. So I may go to ChatGPT or Google Bard and say, hey, I'm 43 and single. I'd like to actually work on an estate plan for my sister and her kids. Are there any probate and estate attorneys that have that level of expertise around me? Right, that's very different than just saying probate and estate attorney near me. Right, so if you are a probate and estate attorney and you actually wanted to capture my business in that case, you may actually want to talk about on your website specific instances of how you've helped aunts and uncles actually provide estate planning ideas for their sisters or their brothers or things of that nature. So I think that's a pretty relevant example, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I think if you took it a level up too.
Yeah.
So you have the advantage, I have the advantage. We've worked with lawyers for a long time.
Yeah.
So we understand what a practice area is.
Yeah.
We know what an estate plan is.
Yeah.
Not everyone knows that, right? Not everyone's going to look for an estate planning attorney. So you also need to think about if they don't know the right terminology.
Yeah.
What else are they going to look at, right? Like, I want my family to be taken care of after I pass or something like that.
Yeah.
What can I do? So those types of content that really explain the process and what you're helping with is even, I think, more important, right? I think a lot of times it's easy on our website to say we do estate planning or we're a plumber, but those specific things and here's what goes into an estate plan or here's what you need to know. I think someone might search like, how do I prepare? What should I have ready? Things like that. So content that's more about the process and what they can expect.
Yeah.
And a little bit more of those conversational questions that they might ask before they say, what attorney should I use?
Yeah, and I also think, I know that tools like Google Bard and ChatGPT, they're not meant to replace attorneys or meant to replace businesses, but they do have a lot of information that you can ask them to actually give you, right? So I could say, hey, I'd like to find out like what are the best practices or things I should be thinking about if I want to create a will and I want to leave things to my sister and eventually my nieces and nephews. I can actually ask ChatGPT or Google Bard that question. It's going to give me a list of things to actually be thinking about that may queue up additional questions that I have so that when I'm ready to go do that actual search for a business, I'm very, very specific based on the research I've done through those types of generative AI tools, right? So I think one other thing to consider here is that when we talk about helpful content and being more clear and actually more concise with content, it doesn't have to just be written content on your website. Think about video, right? There's a lot of ways that generative AI is starting to influence tools like Canva. And Instagram and Meta are starting to use generative AI. And DALL-E, I think is how you pronounce it, is starting to use AI. So you can actually leverage video and you can produce content through video that can be consumed by this AI and that can be a resource so that when people are actually engaging with ChatGPT or they're engaging with Google Bard and they're being really specific and unique in what they're looking for, you can actually leverage video to get some of that content out about you as well. So anything else you want to add around the importance of content?
Yeah, I think we've talked about it a little bit, but Google and other search engines are going to add this into like the regular search page.
Yeah.
So people aren't going to necessarily have to go to Bard to find this stuff, right? They're going to roll this out. So it might seem like something of it's only a subset that you need to worry about, right?
Or it's way off in the distance.
Yeah, it's just going to be people who use Bard.
Yeah.
It's not. It's going to end up on Google one day.
Yeah.
And Google is also prompting them more questions, right? So you might ask, what do I need to do to prepare for an estate plan? Google's also going to say, like, here are some next questions that people ask. And that next question might be, who's the best estate planning attorney near me?
Yeah.
Or like, who should I use? So kind of thinking through, my advice to businesses all the time when it comes to content that I don't think changes from traditional to generative AI is like, really think about the questions your clients are asking, your prospective customers are asking.
Yeah.
And start there.
Yeah.
Because one, they can find you easier online. They can learn more about you. And two, it also kind of helps your sales process that they might come in with some knowledge anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
So think about those things and start creating content around those, understanding kind of where are the pieces that people come into my business from, right?
Yeah.
Do they know what an estate plan is? Do they know what, a specific plumbing issue might be, those kind of things, and kind of take a step back so you can capture the people who don't necessarily know the right terminology and they're looking to learn first.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So again, really, really important piece here. You want to make sure that if you're a business today, you should be thinking about content already, right? But again, as consumers get used to actually engaging with and asking more specific questions through things like generative AI, you're going to want to make sure that your business is arming the consumer with answers to those questions. So think more broadly, think more specific too about the types of content that you're producing and how it's showing up on your website or through your video content or social content, all the places you're represented online. So awesome information today. That wraps it up for this segment of Scorpion Insights. Lots more around generative AI, where this came from. But until next time, we hope you have a great day.